He has Down syndrome and autism and lives at home with his aging parents, Dad, 82, and Mom, 71. His biggest joys in life for him are his day program and eating out. How small are his desires? And you want to take that away from him. He requires much care. Bathing, shaving, washing hair, brushing teeth, dressing, etc. His aging parents can do the job required for this 100% of the time. He has great caregivers right now, and they have been with him for many years. Now you want to take that away from us? Please know that Medicaid, Medi-Cal, is what allows us to keep him in a safe and happy environment.
Wow, look at these comments. Like this girl spamming, sending all my ICE tips after this passes, 2 deported already.
A whole lot less money.
These are the kind of comments that MAGA leaves, and they think they're the good guys.
For him, Jackie asked.
So crazy.
Please be respectful of families who have high-need family members who need these services. Thank you.
I'm going to block her. She's spamming
for allowing
way
me
too much.
to speak on behalf of my son and everyone who loves him. Jackie lives in California.
So look, this guy says nobody cares. He's talking about people that are going to lose their health care. He's talking about all these different people that are going to lose their health care. Over 17 million Americans are going to lose Medicaid if this bill goes through. And $500 billion to $1 trillion of Medicaid cuts.
Colorado.
And he's telling stories of ordinary people who need health care. And look at these comments. Nobody cares. You know, one dude said, it's not our problem.
Discovery I was only able to make
it is your problem.
Medicaid.
If people can't afford to eat or survive or get health care or get things, you know what they do?
I wouldn't have been able to
they say, hey, why not go and commit crimes? Why not go rob people, hurt people, destroy shit, whatever? Either I'll come up and get what I need, or I'll go to prison and I'll get free stuff and get free health care. And I'll get free health care in jail.
To be here.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
No longer work.
People who say it's not our problem, how can you say that you're an American?
Benefits.
You're not an American if you feel that way. If you're an American, then you care that all Americans get treated well. You don't look at it like you don't give a fuck about somebody else over there.
These programs are the only reason I'm able.
That's the individualistic mentality. That's what destroys a country. You don't have a country if you have everybody thinking like individuals.
I don't know how I would manage. Kayla.
By the way, a little update. Right now, this has been blocked. The Democrats have voted nay, 217 votes. Or the Democrats and Republicans have voted 217 votes. And then there's 207 votes that voted for it, all Republican, obviously. But they're 10 votes behind. So they have 207 voting for it, 217 voting against it. They're 10 behind. Only 8 people haven't voted. So that means that even if the 8 people decide to vote and vote for the bill, they would still lose. But do you think Mike Johnson cares? No. So he basically decided to completely, the rule is you have 15 minutes to vote. But the House Speaker can make that time go on longer. And it's been done before by other House speakers, but not very often and only for a few hours. This is ridiculous. Mike Johnson literally said he will let this go on for days till he gets the bill passed. That he won't let it stop for days till he gets what he wants. which is just unbelievable and absolutely insane.
Lives in Colorado's 2nd congressional district.
Hey, Benjamin, how you doing, buddy?
By the assistant Democratic leader, Joe Neguse. Kayla, I can say to you that your Congress member is fighting hard to protect you, just like every single member.
Ben, we're
of
in
the
trouble,
House
buddy.
Democratic Caucus.
I don't know if you see it, the regime and everything that's happening and what they're trying to do. I mean, it's
Ashley
not good.
writes to us from Colorado. Says, my life was saved.
Let me refresh.
Or whether I would get all my meds or the groceries we needed. You know, there are far too many people in the United States of America right now, before experiencing the devastating consequences.
Peter Thiel
of this
is a
one
big part of it,
ugly
man.
bill.
Basically, there's two things that run this
You have to
country:
choose
Israel and Peter
between
Thiel.
putting food
mean,
on the
that's-
table,
I mean, that's basically what it
clothing
is.
on their
Elon
backs,
Musk tried to be
access
somebody that was going to be
medication
one of those people, but
or
you know
paying
that
rent.
didn't happen, and now he's getting buyer's remorse.
The United States of America is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Not a single hardworking American taxpayer should ever have to choose between food or medicine or rent or putting clothing on their back. Not a single hardworking American taxpayer should ever have to make that choice.
It's true.
If people did not have to worry
Look at what somebody said. Look at
about
this. Look at
health
this.
care being accessible,
Look at this. This
they
guy
would be
writes,
able to be
"Tell a
seen
sad story
when
about a
necessary."
homosexual Jew next." That's what this guy
When
writes.
people are able to see doctors when they are unwell.
And this is the reason why I'm saying, how do
They can
these
stay
people
healthy for
think that
longer
they're the
periods of
good
time.
guys?
When people
like-
can stay healthy,
They don't understand
miss
that
work.
America is made up of
When
all
people
kinds of
don't miss
people,
work, they
of black
don't
people,
risk
brown people, of
losing
Asian people, of
their job.
fucking, gay people, of all kinds
the
of
way
people
things
make
work
up
now
America.
only encourages
And look at what this guy writes. This guy, Paul Hopkins, he's got like the whitest
constant
guy's
classist act
fucking
of
name
keeping
ever.
the sick
Tell a
and
sad
poor
story about a
sick and
homosexual
poor.
Jew next. This is MAGA.
should
This is
never,
what they
ever
are.
be a
This is
situation in a
this
country
is who they are, dude. This is what they do.
that claims to have the
You know,
best functioning
like you look at
economy
like
in
what
the world.
Democrats write, right?
The best
And they
doctors.
say things like,
best
the
universities.
minority leader is out of touch, as the minority
Ashley
leader is
lives in
saying people shouldn't
Colorado's
die just for
3rd
being poor and sick.
congressional district.
Whole really out of touch. If you go down and look at like, what happened?
Gentleman is not recognized. The House will be in order. New
Ashley
York's recognized.
lives in Colorado's.
What happened?
And when people are able to see doctors when they are unwell, they can stay healthy for longer periods of time. When people can stay healthy, they don't miss work. When people don't miss work, they don't risk losing their jobs. The way things work now only encourages the constant classist act of keeping the sick and poor sick and poor. This should never, ever be a situation in a country that claims to have the best functioning economy in the world,
Block.
the best doctors, the best universities. Ashley lives in Colorado's 3rd congressional district.
Gentleman is not recognized. The House will be in order.
Wow, that was a Republican yelling, getting mad that he was talking
Ashley.
so
York's
long.
recognized.
Lives in Colorado's 3rd congressional district. represented by my colleague, Congressman Jeff.
They don't like it. They don't like that he's sitting there going story
also
after
writes
story after
from
story about people that are going to lose their health care. They don't like it.
Colorado.
They don't like it because they want to somehow convince
Through the
people that
Medicaid
this bill is
waiver,
good for them.
Scott and son was placed in a group living situation that worked out for a while, but was eventually kicked out. After that, he moved back in with me, but ended up homeless once more, before finally being placed back on a Medicaid waiver program. Now he's doing really well. His job, which he loves, also receives funding through Medicaid, so that people with disabilities can be employed and be productive members of the community.
This guy says the cuts are
Without
$1 billion.
Medicaid, he probably
They're
wouldn't
not.
be
They're
alive
$1 trillion.
today.
Without
this assistance, we likely wouldn't be where we are now. And I doubt that there would be a happy ending to this story. Ann lives in Colorado's 6th congressional district, a district represented by our colleague, Congressman Jason Crow, who is also fighting hard to protect your interests, and as every single
I'm allergic
one
to shitty bills.
in the House Democratic Caucus will continue to do. We believe in America, health care is not simply a privilege that should be afforded to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. It's a right that should be available to everyone. A right that is still imperfect at this moment, that we are working hard to perfect. But this one big ugly bill, the largest attack on health care, Mr. Speaker, in the United States of America, moves us in the opposite direction. Daniela is also from Colorado. She writes to us, Medicaid has been a lifeline for our family, especially for my 5-year-old daughter.
God, these comments
Who
are
has
so fucking
autism.
ignorant. They're just so stupid. The people
That's
in
the
these
thing,
comments are
Mr.
so
Speaker,
fucking
Medicaid
dumb, just so
important for
fucking
so many
badly educated. Oh
Americans
my God,
all
they're
across
so
this country,
stupid.
including people with disabilities. It's a necessary lifeline so that parents can help their children live a better life with dignity and respect.
This Linda Beck lady's
Why
like,
would any
he's talking about
legislation
people who
that
deserve
this
the
House
whatever the
passes
fuck, and then she's like, they will not be kicked off.
Attack health care
And it's like-
available.
There really is like this underlying
families that are
thought
pouring in
process where these
everything they
idiots
have
think that like
to
illegals
help
and
their
people that
child
are
under difficult circumstances live the
undocumented
best
really
possible
collect
life. It
like
perplexes
health care
me.
in the United States. And it's like, are you fucking stupid?
Speaker,
American citizens don't even get health care in the
That this
fucking
bill
United States. That's like, I mean, are you kidding
go
me?
after
And like they
the
think that they
healthcare
do.
of
It's
people
like,
like
they're just
Daniela.
morons. They're so stupid that they think that this is like a
and
thing.
her
It's not a
5-year-old
thing.
daughter. Daniela says that as parents, we've faced many struggles trying to balance full-time work, starting a real estate business, and still being there for our 3 other children.
America is about to pull a
been
collective
overwhelming at
Luigi
times.
if we have to watch millions of our loved ones
finding
die
the
for
right
lack of
support
health
for
care.
her
That
hasn't
is a good
always been
comment
easy.
because it's true. It's true.
Medicaid has provided therapy and services that have made a world of difference in her life. These therapies have helped her make progress, feel seen, and connect with her peers, which means everything to us. It's allowed her
Look at this.
to be
His
a part of the
monotone
world,
fake empathy, someone says.
to feel
They think this
included.
guy's fake empathy. Well,
to
the other
overcome
guys on the other
obstacles
side
that
are like,
seemed
and we're going to make sure the middle class, and blah, 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 and they're like, these guys are so full of shit, and they
Medicaid
think
has
those
helped
guys
us.
are the honest guys. And the people that
Give
are
her
up
the
there trying to fight
opportunity
for
she
ordinary
deserves.
people are the fake empaths up there with their
And
fake
millions of other
empathy.
children
No, dude, you're a fucking
United
sociopath
States.
and you don't feel empathy. That's why you think this is fake empathy,
Speaker,
because you don't
Daniela
fucking have any. You don't
lives
fucking
in
have any empathy.
Colorado's
MAGA doesn't
8th
give a
congressional
fuck.
district.
MAGA's like, oh, you have fucking a sickness? Who cares?
District
Oh, you fucking are poor? Oh, fucking well. Oh, you
currently
fucking like,
represented.
they're so fucking stupid. And most of them are welfare
Congressman
recipients. Most of them have
Davis.
nothing and live off the system. Most of
Currently
MAGA has nothing, yet they're the first people to fucking try to act like when someone else has nothing, it's not my fucking problem. But they want everyone to feel bad for
Speaker,
them. They want everyone to feel
we
they're
heard from
victimized. They're the poor fucking white fucking MAGA people that are
Right
so
from
victimized. Everyone needs to fucking help them. But like when other people are,
Have an
when he's
adult
talking
daughter?
about people that are brown or black, they're like, oh, talk
developmental
about another homosexual Jew.
intellectual
Oh, talk about a,
disability.
yeah, because anyone who's not a straight white Christian
needs
male
Medicaid for
doesn't
her
fucking matter to
medical
these
care.
people. And like that's the only
As a
people
mom,
who
I
in their
worry a lot
eyes are the
about
victim.
what the future
Anyone
will
else
hold
figure it out.
for her.
Them though, oh, there's
she have
a
access
fucking
to
war
quality
against them, trying to
medical
oppress
care?
them. It's the
When my
fucking
husband is
dumbest
no
shit I've
longer
ever seen in
able
my
to
life.
Provide for her. Please support
And I know
individuals
nobody's
like
gonna
my
fucking
daughter
see this fucking video, and you know why?
who
Because
are
Google's a
vulnerable
fucking piece of shit too. Google's
need
another fucking
our
company that's in cahoots with Donald Trump,
you.
just like Instagram is, just like Facebook is. All these
From my
fucking apps, they're suppressing people like me. They're suppressing dissent.
Martha lives
They
in
will not
Florida's
let dissent be
7th
heard. They're literally just suppressing the fuck out of
Congressional
anyone
district, a
who says
district
anything bad about this
represented
fucking
by
regime. That's why no one will ever see these
colleague,
videos.
Mr. Speaker,
Mark my
Congressman
fucking words. But on TikTok, I make a
Corey
video on
Mills.
TikTok about it. The shit gets 50,000 views in 3 days. Why? Because it's owned
Heard
by
from
fucking
people from the
China,
heartland
and they can't tell China what to do with their fucking algorithm. But they're doing it here. Make no mistake
this
about
country.
it.
In Indiana, Kim writes to us, SNAP and Medicaid were lifelines when my children were younger. At least when I was able to get them. As a single mom, working my way up from low-paying jobs, we often had too little food. My dinner was the combined uneaten food from my 4 kids' plates. Even then, keeping benefits was difficult due to missing or late paperwork, faxes lost to the ether. I sometimes worked 3 jobs and cried too often when the letter came saying benefits were suspended. When that happens, you end up hungry for weeks until it's
Look
straightened
at him.
out.
Oh, this guy's still talking? Yeah, he is. He's fighting for you, you fucking
Kim
idiot.
Lives in the
He's fighting for
9th
you,
Congressional District of
but you're too
Indiana, Mr.
stupid to
Speaker.
know it.
She says SNAP and Medicaid were lifelines when my children were
Somebody
young
take the microphone away from this whack job, says
least when
70
I was
Mike
able
Mike.
to get them.
Probably another fucking fake account. None of these accounts are even
Park right
fucking
there for a
real,
moment,
dude.
because one
It's
of
fucking
the
like literally. It's
arguments
like there's literally
I've
companies paying
consistently
people to spam pro-Trump bullshit.
made
No one even fucking supports
Mr.
this
Speaker,
fucking
by
clown anymore, dude.
our Republican colleagues on the other side of the aisle is that they weren't going after Medicaid recipients, that no benefits would be taken away as a result of these so-called
Hey, watch this.
work
I'm gonna do this.
requirements. Let's fact check that statement. Every independent entity that has looked at this question, including the Congressional Budget Office, has made clear, as a result of the one big ugly bill, millions of Americans will lose their Medicaid benefits.
Yep.
These so-called work requirements are just a smokescreen, because more than 90% of the people who receive Medicaid benefits, who can work,
I know what the
do
bill
work
says.
right now.
It's not hard
in
to
the
figure it
United
out.
States of America. Right now, more than 90%. What these impositions are really paperwork requirements that are designed to make it harder for everyday Americans like Kim to access their benefits. And as a result, millions of Americans who are eligible, who are hardworking, who are deserving, will lose their health care. Kim says, I sometimes work 3 jobs and cried too often when the letter came saying benefits were suspended. As House Democrats, Mr. Speaker, we are here fighting for people like Kim and millions of others like her all across the United States of America, who will lose urgently necessary.
You know what's funny
Life
is every single time MAGA posts something in here, they use American
Medicaid
flags.
benefits
And it's so
as a
funny
result.
because they think they're the Patriots. Like they
Donald
think that
Trump,
they're like
one
the
big,
that they're
ugly
like the patriotic what America really stands for, right? But the funny thing is that
hear
when Trump threw a parade
from Maria.
on his birthday for the army, they didn't even
Iowa.
show up. They didn't show up.
in the
And
great
they didn't
heartland
support him on his birthday. They didn't support the army on
this
its
country.
birthday. But they're supposed to be patriots. You know what they did
Maria
instead?
writes to us in
They went around to
2021.
all the protests that liberals were at
I
to
got
harass the
seriously
liberals, to film them and harass
with
them and
COVID.
attack them. Because what MAGA stands
ended
for
up in a coma.
is not Donald Trump. MAGA
12
does not
days.
stand for Donald Trump, and MAGA does not stand
Spent
for patriotism or
3.5
America.
weeks
MAGA only stands for one purpose and one
in the
purpose
ICU.
only, and that's to own the libs. That's their
And then
entire
another-
philosophy. That's it.
3 weeks.
That is their entire philosophy.
recovery.
They have absolutely zero desire
if it wasn't for
to
Medicaid,
be American or patriot
wouldn't have
or support
received
the
any of the
military
care
or support Trump.
I needed.
They didn't even show up on his birthday. They don't
I
give a
honestly
fuck about
don't
Trump.
know where I'd be.
They don't care about Trump. They only
today.
care about owning the libs.
I don't
And the
know what my
Republicans
family
know
would have
this.
done.
They know this, so they know, oh, we'll just do this, and then when the liberals get mad,
Without
we'll get the
Medicaid, I
support
wouldn't have
because
made it.
as soon as they know liberals are mad, they'll support it because liberals are mad.
If I
That's their entire philosophy.
Medicaid,
That's all they stand for. Pretty
it would
shitty.
completely change my life. I wouldn't be able to afford my insulin, diabetes medications, blood pressure medications, or see my endocrinologist.
Look at this guy. Deport
All
Democrats.
of which are
Deport Democrats.
life-sustaining
Like,
treatments. I also need to see my pulmonary specialist regularly. Without Medicaid, my health
see, you see a Democrat write something and they put other adults. Eligibility limits for other
That's a
adults are
statement
presented as a percentage of the 2025
that applies
FPL for an individual is 15,000.
millions of
You know that's a
Americans.
Democrat. Nobody MAGA wrote that
all across this
because
great
MAGA can't write that. They're literally stupid. Like they can't write stuff like that. They don't even know math
at
and numbers and dollars and stuff
losing
like
their
that. They don't know
healthcare
that.
because
They just do
one
deport
big,
Democrats
ugly
with
Republican
American
bill has
flags.
put a
Deport Democrats,
on
MAGA.
their back.
That's all they do. They're morons. They're idiots. They don't know what's in this bill. They don't know. They just go,
Without Medicaid,
"Oh, what did Trump say? What did Trump say? Did Trump say the what's in the bill? Oh, Trump says it's this, so it's fine." Like they're idiots.
time
What did
to
Fox
share
News
these
say?
stories.
Did Fox News say it's fine?
Because This is a question for so many Americans of life and death. It's extraordinary that on the House floor, in the middle of the night, the American people are forced to confront a bill that targets their health care and will result in their well-being deteriorating. More than 17 million Americans at risk of losing health care coverage, and then tens
It's 3:04 in the morning and
I
I can't sleep.
more experiencing increased premiums, co-pays, and deductibles as a result of the attack on health.
Ben, you still with me? I'm over here fucking ranting,
this
and
bill.
all I got is you.
Many of them will also lose coverage, lose their health care. These are Americans
Yep.
on private insurance, employer-provided insurance. But because of the health care attacks,
Ben,
in
I'm
this
so
bill,
fucking mad. I'm
their
so mad,
premiums,
man.
Their co-pays, their deductibles will go
Like,
up.
I'm really mad.
Some will not be able to afford it.
I witnessed what happened.
And they will lose
I watched
their
what
health
happened
care.
to this country, and I just,
That's
I
what
can't,
this
I don't know what to
bill
do. I feel like I'm
represents.
fucking screaming and shouting into the void.
That's why I'm taking the time to share these stories and experiences and concerns and fears and anxieties.
Hey, Susie, you're live
Of
on
the
the
American
microphone. I'm live in front of everybody.
I wish, Mr. Speaker, that we had a lot more time to
It's
debate
okay. What do you want to say?
this bill. This is the type of bill that under
I
normal
just,
circumstances, we'd have hours and
Wanted to make
hours
sure you were okay.
of debate,
Yeah, I'm good. I can't sleep.
where hundreds of members could participate
No, I can't
on
either.
both
Did you take
sides
your gummies?
of the aisle and share
Oh, the whatchamacallit gummies,
their thoughts, their perspectives.
magnesium.
Their ideas,
I
their
didn't
passionate
yet. I
support.
probably should, but I don't know. I'm just fucking sitting here watching
passionate
this
opposition.
fucking shit show go on in Washington. And just all these callous
this bill-
assholes commenting over and over and over again in this fucking
Which by
chat.
some
Just people that are
Estimates?
like he'll tell a story. Hakeem Jeffries will tell a
It's
story
larger
about like some woman who's
the
like,
CARES Act?
you know, sick and can't afford to feed her child or like something like
the
that.
American Rescue Plan
And they're just like, oh, tell a story about a
and the
homosexual Jew
Infrastructure
next,
Investment and Jobs Act.
and like saying things like that, or
the
like
CHIPS
like
and
who
Science
cares?
Act
That's not our
combined?
fucking problem. Like this is like what they're writing in there,
In terms of its
This is like
possible
the-
impact
and they think they're the good guys. They
On
think
the
they're
debt
they're on the right side of history.
this
It's fucking
country.
unbelievable.
Yeah, they're not.
increasing
They're bad
the
people.
debt by more than
They're bad, selfish.
$3 trillion,
Callous.
saddling our children and
Narcissists.
grandchildren
Yeah.
with that level of
All right, well, I'll
extraordinary
let you
debt
go.
All right.
by people who claim
Yeah.
to be
I'm just.
fiscally responsible.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when
The
I
implications
hit the
of this
shit
bill
later.
are enormous.
Okay.
And I'll tell you if the gummies thing
And yet-
works, because it is a little late, but we'll see. I'll let you know.
Each side of the Ways and
Okay.
Means Committee
All
was
right.
given
Okay.
15 minutes
Good night.
Night.
to discuss the implications of this bill. Each side of the Budget Committee was given 15 minutes to discuss the implications of this bill that will have devastating consequences for everyday Americans, while rewarding billionaires with massive tax breaks.
Yep.
It had been my hope,
MAGA loves it.
Mr. Speaker,
Poor ass idiot,
That
broke,
we be
fucking
able
dumb,
to have a
fucking MAGA
robust
people
debate.
love that rich people get all these breaks because they think that like
Passionate support
they're gonna
or
be that one
passionate
day
opposition.
when they're not. They're about to be replaced with
In
fucking
connection with
robots.
this
They're so
bill.
stupid. They have no idea what the fuck they're
That
like. They're
hundreds of
idiots.
members on both sides of the aisle
So fucking ridiculous.
participate, and instead, We have a limited debate where the relevant committees of jurisdiction have been given 15 minutes each on a bill of such significant magnitude as it relates to the health, the safety, and the well-being of the American people. And because that debate was so limited, I feel the obligation, Mr. Speaker, to stand on this House floor and take my sweet time to tell the stories of the American people. And that's exactly what I intend to do. Take my sweet time on behalf of the American people, on behalf of their health care,
Hell yeah, man.
on behalf of their Medicaid, on behalf of their nutritional assistance, on behalf of veterans, on behalf of farmers, on behalf of children, on behalf of seniors, on behalf of people with disabilities, on behalf of small businesses, on behalf of every single American. I'm on this House floor after 6 a.m. and I'm planning to take my sweet time.
And here's the thing. Even Republicans voted against this bill. I mean, that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, even Republicans were like, whoa, this bill's really bad. Like, this is going to hurt, like, even
Without
MAGA
Medicaid,
voters. Like, it's so
I
crazy.
wouldn't have made it.
But these idiots still want to root it on
I
because they're
lost Medicaid,
stupid.
it would completely change my life. It would also severely affect my husband with epilepsy. Without Medicaid, he wouldn't be able to afford his seizure medications.
I know so many people in the same story
Which
as
means
this
he'd
shit.
have seizures every week, like he did before. This would leave him unable to function or work.
MAGA and the
Before he
Peter
had
Thiel
Medicaid,
movement, they want
He'd have
they want
seizures.
people like that to die. They're like, oh, you have seizures, you're
And it would take
useless,
him
just
days.
die. Oh, you're fat, you're
recover.
gross, you're fat and overweight, not of shape. Who cares? You're disabled,
health is
good, just die.
inconsistent.
This is like what they want.
Which makes it hard
It's
for him to
inherently what they
hold
want.
down
Look at the comments.
a
This
job.
is literally how they feel. They support this shit.
Still have my house,
They literally want a genocide of anybody that isn't
My
productive
car,
in America.
my husband,
And they support that 100%.
and my health.
As long as it's not them.
Thank God for that.
As long as they're like, that's what they think. What they
But
think
why
is like,
should we have
Trump
to
would never
struggle
knock my family
so
off. They're
hard
white.
Just to
Trump
live?
would never knock my white family off Medicaid. He's talking about
Our
all the
country
browns and blacks, and we want them knocked off
so
Medicaid. That's literally
much
what this is.
wealth.
Make no mistake about it, dude. I dare
considered
somebody to
one
come
of
in
the
here and
lucky
fucking argue with me about it. I fucking promise you.
And yet I still struggle
Fuck
to
you.
make ends
Please come in
meet.
here and fucking say some stupid ass shit tonight.
For the
I'm
basics.
ready, man. I'm fucking on one, dude. I dare you.
That's Maria
So sick and tired of arguing with fucking uneducated, stupid fucking idiots
pouring her heart
over
out
and
to
over and
us
over
as
again that don't
members
know
of
shit,
Congress.
never read a book in their fucking life. They don't even have a
About her
vocabulary. They can't even say word. They don't even know basic math
She
skills.
lives in Iowa's
They don't even know the world map. You
First
can't even point to
congressional
like a
district.
fucking country on the map. You can't even say what, point to a country on the map. They can't
represented
do it.
by
They're fucking
our
idiots.
colleague, Mr. Speaker,
Want to come in here and argue with
Representative
me about what's right and
Marionette
what's wrong.
Miller Meeks.
Stupid fucking dipshits.
In a country with so much wealth, I'm considered one of the lucky ones.
There's a reason why I went from being homeless on the fucking
yet I
streets
still struggle
with
to
nothing and a
make ends
crackhead
meet
prostitute mother
for the
to
basics.
owning a business worth $2.5 million.
Maria
There's
makes
a
this
reason
important point
why
as
I
we
have money
stand
and
on
why
the
now
threshold
and I'm able to live how I live. It's definitely not
of
because
the
I'm an
4th of
idiot.
July.
That's for sure. It's definitely not because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Thomas
But
Jefferson.
I have friends back home that literally have
Having
nothing
written
and never did anything with their lives for over 25
those
fucking
immortal
years,
words
30 years, who still
the
think that I need to
Declaration of
listen to them, that
Independence,
want to
we
lecture
hold
me about
these
how the
truths to
world
be
works when
self-evident,
they're still sleeping
that
on
all
someone's
men
couch,
are
when they're
created
still living
equal,
off some woman because they
are
don't even have a
endowed
fucking job.
by their creator.
It's unbelievable. It's like,
Gentlemen will suspend.
that's what I keep finding.
Members are reminded to take their conversations off the floor.
That's what I
Close
keep
both
finding about
sets
these
of,
fucking about MAGA
closed room
people
doors, please.
is that they want to claim to know everything when
Gentleman's
they're
recognized.
literally they're the biggest losers.
Thank you, Mr.
Every time
Speaker.
I meet people that are like hardcore MAGA, they're the biggest losers ever. They're literally losers.
So I'm not going to
They
get
like
any love.
they
from
have
the other
like
side
no
of the aisle. I would
nothing
expect
and
that
like
at least Thomas
but
Jefferson
they're
would.
geniuses. They're super geniuses about about how politics and the economy and how
wrote-
it all works. And it's like, no, dude, you're just in a cult. You just believe
Declaration of
everything Donald Trump
Independence, that
fucking
among
says to you because you're a fucking idiot
These
and you worship him
are
like
life,
Christ.
liberty,
Like some of these people claim to be Christians. If Jesus
And the
Christ
pursuit of happiness.
literally came here right now, if Jesus
What is the
Christ
pursuit of
literally
happiness?
resurrected right now or came back right
the
now
United
to the
States of
world and
America.
landed in the United States, ICE would fucking deport him for coming in
Here
here
in the year
illegally.
of our Lord 2025.
That's what would happen. And MAGA Christians would be like, oh, well,
Imagine
was he going to
a
vote
country
liberal? Well,
where
if he was going to
every
vote liberal, then he
single
definitely wasn't the real
American
Jesus.
Can afford to live the good life. Work hard, play by the rules, live the good life.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That's the American dream.
The American
But
dream's
our
a lie.
concern as Democrats is that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, there are far too many people like Maria from Iowa who are unable to achieve that American dream, unable, despite working hard and playing by the rules, to live the good life, good paying job, good housing, good health care, good education for your children, and a good retirement. That should not be too much to ask for here in the United States of America. But instead of working to bring that American dream to life for the greatest number of people all across the country, this one big ugly bill, Mr. Speaker, that our Republican colleagues are trying to jam down the throats of the American people,
Yeah, fucking block
will
this dude. He's
undermine
stupid as fuck. Tired of
their
seeing
quality
his
of
post.
life. Also hear from Patrick. Lives in the heartland of this country. One of the good people of Iowa, who says, I'm a registered nurse in the ICU at the VA hospital in Iowa City. I've worked as a nurse for 30 years, and I'm a native Iowan. I have 2 disabled children who are on Medicaid. My son had a severe brain injury as a child and requires extensive physical therapy.
What these people that are in the comments don't
Occupational
realize,
therapy.
Hakeem Jeffries is literally
speech
reading
therapy.
all the letters.
My daughter
that
is autistic
people have been
and lives
mailing him.
independently on housing
letters that have
provided
been being mailed, like
by
real
Medicaid.
stories, and he's reading them. He's literally filibustering
Before we
this
had
shit
Medicaid,
and sitting
we
here
were
and
bankrupt.
reading this shit as a filibuster.
paying
And
for their treatment.
it's like it's amazing.
We
What
would
he's
go
doing right
bankrupt
now is
again
heroic, but everybody in here wants to.
if Medicaid
Well, not everybody. There's a lot of Dems in here now,
is
but
cut.
I mean, it's just like
These are complicated systems for people with very complicated.
this bill's
needs.
bad, man. What's crazy is that it should actually be
These
over.
quote unquote.
The truth is
common
it should
sense
be over.
solutions they're
It was
coming up with
217
are
votes
not
nay,
based
207
in
votes
reality.
yes. Yay and nay, right? So nays beat out yays by
People have
10,
tried
and
these
there's only
work
8 more
requirements
people that haven't voted. It's a wrap.
in the past, but even
It's a
disabled
wrap.
or able-bodied
But do they want to
people,
call
we
it a
all
wrap?
have
No,
barriers.
because Mike Johnson wants to flip votes. So he's
From
keeping the
childcare,
motion open for days if he
transportation,
has to,
monetary
till he can
limitations.
convince
It's a foolish
some
idea to
Republicans
think that this
who
won't have
voted
a
nay to
negative
vote yay.
impact.
And he refuses to close the motion
They're
until the
just
bill gets
trying
passed.
to remove
That's what we're
people
dealing with right now.
from
That's
the
why
program.
everybody's here. That's why we're up
And
all
it's
night.
cruel. Patrick, you are correct. Thank you for your service as a registered nurse at the VA hospital. And thank you for all that you are doing to love and cherish your 2 disabled children who are on Medicaid. And you're exactly right. What is contemplated in this one big, ugly bill is wrong, it's dangerous, and it's cruel. And cruelty should not be either the objective or the outcome of legislation that we consider here in the United States House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, cruelty should never be the objective or the outcome of legislation that we consider here in the House of Representatives. But it is cruel to take away Medicaid from the American people. And that is why, as House Democrats, we will continue to show up and speak up and stand up in defense of the health care of the American people. I'm thankful for all of my colleagues who are here, who throughout this process, a difficult process, have stood up over and over and over again on behalf of the health care of the American people. Thankful for my colleagues in leadership, Whip Catherine Clark and Chair Pete Aguilar, and all of the members of House Democratic leadership. Thankful for the leaders of every single committee who's been battling hard to push back against the cruelty that is in this one big, ugly bill. Thankful for the leadership of Richie Neal. Thankful for the leadership of Frank Pallone. Thankful for the leadership of Brendan Boyle. Thankful for the leadership of Angie Craig. I'm thankful for the leadership, the principal leadership of every single member of the House Democratic Caucus. But above all else, I'm just thankful for the spirit, the heart, and soul of the American people who have risen up throughout this country to make it clear to all of us in this institution: keep your hands off our Medicaid. Keep your hands off our health care, our Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act. Keep your hands off our Medicaid. That's why, Mr. Speaker, I stand before you today to lift up stories on behalf of the American people. Don't have the great privilege and honor to stand on this House floor, as all of us, Democrats and Republicans alike, do, on behalf of the American people in this great institution, the House of Representatives. But to me, What we are doing with this one big ugly bill, this assault on healthcare, on veterans, on nutritional assistance, this assault on good paying, clean energy jobs, this assault on the high cost of living in the United States of America, all of it is inconsistent with the best of what this House of Representatives should be doing for such a time as this.
Look at these MAGA comments.
So I stand
Cut all welfare, get a job, add the
on behalf
Clyde
of
Amendment, legal
everyday
immigrants for Trump.
Americans.
Cut all welfare, get a job.
like Elizabeth.
The vast majority of people on fucking
also
welfare
from
are MAGA people, and then they put American flags like that.
Elizabeth
like
suffered
that's even an
from
American
sepsis.
statement. That's so fucking crazy.
Caused
Cut
by
all welfare.
Untreated
Like,
strep throat.
this is what you're dealing with, man. These fucking people are
After
insane.
waiting to receive
They're fucking
care
nuts. I'm blocking this guy. He's saying
While
it again. He's
uninsured.
spamming the shit.
and without paid sick leave. After receiving care she needed, she was able to
Big
apply
beautiful
for Medicaid.
bill, MAGA baby, MAGA
And for a
baby.
medical
Get
bill,
the fuck out of here, you fucking
retroactively
loser.
covered. Now, Medicaid has allowed her to get access to essential and preventative health care. Mr. Speaker, Elizabeth lives in
People are like, oh, there's no cure for
The
TDS. This is how stupid they
Congressional
are.
District,
Trump literally
by
just said today to the GOP, to the
colleague
Republican
Zach
Party,
Nunn,
just make
Iowa's
sure that you keep your hands
third
off of Medicaid.
congressional district.
And they were like,
Thank you,
this
Elizabeth,
bill
for
does
highlighting
put its hands on Medicaid. And Trump went,
One of the concerns
it does?
that
He didn't even
all of
know.
us should have
He didn't even fucking know. He
With this
didn't
bill.
even know that they were cutting Medicaid.
when you launch
And these
an
people are like, oh, Trump
all-out
derangement
assault
syndrome. This is
on the
fucking
health
nothing
care
to
of
do
the
with
American
Trump.
people.
Nothing. Nothing to do with Trump.
effectively
These people are
end
so
Medicaid
fucking
as
stupid.
we know it.
They're literally in here like, oh, Trump derangement syndrome.
parts of the affordable
This is a
care.
fucking a bill that's going to kick 17 million Americans off of their
essentially
fucking health care.
are doing
That's what they're trying to do.
by
And they're like,
stripping
oh,
healthcare
Trump
away
derangement syndrome.
from the American people. Putting people like
I'm a
Elizabeth
MAGA fucking
back in the
bush
position
brain.
that she had previously been in,
Oh my God, dude.
where she has
Look,
untreated
MAGA.
conditions.
They're in a cult. MAGA. That's like all they know how to say. They'd offer
That won't
no
get
intellectual debate, no intellectual
own. It
discussion
will
about the
likely
bill,
get worse.
why they think it's good,
And lead to
like
further
nothing. Nothing.
medical
This is what they are. They're
complications. Why
fucking
would we do
idiots.
that to the American
They offer
people?
no
That is wrong.
fucking like intelligent statements or feedback.
We should be lifting people up in this country, not tearing them down. We should be lifting up everyday Americans, not tearing them down.
Blocking
putting
that
them at
fucking
risk.
idiot, too.
Of their life, their quality of life, their health, their well-being, getting worse. We hear from Becky. From the great state of
75% of the economy in the United States
By the way,
is consumer
Louisiana-
spending.
it's a state with some of the highest
So when these billionaires are like, "Oh, we want more tax cuts, we want more,"
Medicaid recipients of any state.
do
in
they
the
realize that when you take and take and take and take
Any
and take
state
from
in
the
the
vast majority of ordinary people, and they can't go out and spend,
And
that
Louisiana is a
absolutely
state at
devastates
risk
the
of
economy, and you
suffering
lose all
greatly.
your money? Do they realize how
As
counterproductive
a
that is?
result of the all-out
Do they even-
assault
Do they even know? Like, are they aware?
on Medicaid that is part of Donald Trump's one big ugly bill.
It's unfucking believable, man.
Becky tells us, I have had Medicaid for years. And without it, I wouldn't be able to afford to see
Oh, the
my
Republicans are getting
doctors
pissed.
or cover what Medicaid doesn't pay. As a senior citizen, I now have to go back to work just to keep a roof over my head, afford rising food and utility costs, and maintain my car. Meanwhile, the government keeps taking more and more out of my Social Security.
This comment right here wins.
Benefits.
This bill disproportionately hurts
Money
Trump's
I already
voter
pay
base.
taxes on
Absolutely true.
while working.
Absolutely a fact. Absolutely true.
Feels like the middle class no longer exists. You're either rich or poor.
This person says, Jeffries,
Politicians
you
today
should read the bill before you debate it. No one you have mentioned will
Have
lose
no real
Medicaid.
understanding
Yes, they will.
of what it's like to struggle.
Because I have
every
read the
single
bill.
day.
And they will. Make no
If
mistake
they
about
had
it.
to live like regular people, maybe things would improve for seniors like me. Becky lives in Louisiana's 3rd Congressional District, a district
But you know what?
by
The Republicans will do.
colleague.
The
Mr.
Republicans
Speaker,
will go and there'll be a reconciliation
Right here.
again because, well, that's if this doesn't pass, which it already shouldn't have passed. It already should be
Louisiana.
over. We're still sitting here because Mike Johnson decided
State of
to
course, also represented by my good friend and colleague.
violate the rules of government and keep the motion open until he gets his way. Ultimately, Speaker Mike
Congressman
Johnson. But
Troy
if
Carter.
somehow they can manage to flip
He's
a few
here.
Republicans over to vote for the bill, and this were to go through,
in
then
the
it is what it
chamber
is.
also,
But if it doesn't go through, which
Cleo
right now
Fields.
it won't, right now it's being blocked.
Another good friend and
And if that succeeds, if the
Colleague.
block succeeds, if they hold, then
Louisiana, a
all the
state
all
that
the
stands
Republicans will do is they'll make a few minor changes to the
suffer
bill
mightily
and then have the Senate
as a
revote.
result of this
And
all-out
they'll take a little
assault
they'll take a little bit of the stuff out that the Democrats
Medicaid.
are mad about, and then they'll try to push it through again, and this will keep happening and keep happening.
Now, I
And
heard
then finally,
my
when the
distinguished
bill gets passed, when
colleague,
after the Democrats have fought to get a bunch of shit out of there,
Mr. Speaker,
then the
House
bill will get passed. And then what
Majority
happens
Leader,
is
someone who-
nobody loses their health care because the Democrats fought for it.
Personal
But Trump will go out and make a statement on Truth Social that says,
resilience,
my big
perseverance,
beautiful
his
bill
journey.
passed. I got it pushed through the White House. And now finally, after all the crying,
comes by
my
his
bill
views.
is passed. Even though it's not the same bill, and even though the Democrats
good
have now
faith,
fought
it's
to have everything
perspective,
that
it's
was
the
horrible
speakers.
removed. And then when no one gets kicked off Medicaid, all his base will say, see, all those Democrats were crying for
But many
nothing.
of
That
our
bill
colleagues
passed
on the
and
other
nobody's
side of the
losing their
aisle
health care.
have made the
And they
representation
still
that
won't
as House
understand that it's
Democrats-
because of this why they didn't lose their health care. And this is the
We're not
fucking loop.
telling the truth
This is the loop over and over and over and over again
to the
that
American
keeps
people.
happening. Even these cuts
about the
to this
devastating
bill
impact
are not scheduled
Donald
to go
Trump's
into
one
effect
big,
until
ugly
another
bill,
2.5 years.
a bill being rushed
So when
through this
people
chamber
actually start feeling the pain, there'll be another president, no doubt a
will have
Democrat,
on the health and the
and then they'll
well-being
blame that Democratic president for why they're
of
they're
people
feeling pain, rather than the
Louisiana
people
and
who
all
passed
across
this piece of shit now 3 years ago.
the country. They've
Like,
accused
and
us
this is
of
the problem that we have
fear-mongering
with the way things work in this country.
and making
It's such a
misrepresentations.
delicate system, and it's so easy to fucking like railroad.
And
it.
so I was surprised to learn, Mr. Speaker, that the Louisiana State Legislature recently voted. The Louisiana State Legislature that has a Republican supermajority. The Louisiana State Legislature recently voted to condemn the one big ugly bill because of the extraordinary attack on Medicaid that will adversely impact their constituents. We're telling the truth. This one big, ugly bill will hurt everyday Americans in Louisiana and all across the country. Don't take our word for it. Take the word of the Louisiana State Legislature. Supermajority.
Who done?
So we're here on the House floor, taking our sweet time to tell the stories of the American people and the adverse impact that Trump's one big, ugly bill, that my House Republican colleagues, Mr. Speaker,
Make no mistake, there ain't a single Republican in the building in there
of the American people
that really wants this bill to pass anyways. Maybe a
Causing
couple,
great
but the
harm.
vast majority of them don't. But they're afraid of Trump, and they don't want to admit.
those who we
They
should
don't
be
want to admit
working
to Trump or
hard
have
to
it on record
protect.
that they voted against his bill. Trump
Love
literally
and cherish.
is having people take these people into rooms and like put him on the phone with him so he can
Adversely
bully them into like voting for
impact
it.
their ability
So
to
this is
live
like, you know,
and live life more.
when Republicans are yelling and getting mad at that he's taking so long, like even the speaker's like, shut up. He gets to speak.
Tamara, who lives in Louisiana's 4th congressional district, represented by the Speaker of this great House. I have depression and PTSD. I'm unable to work and rely on Medicaid to get my monthly medications.
Jeffries might be doing this
Keep me
till noon
essentially
tomorrow
alive.
or today. He really might be. He might
Tamara,
stand
we're
there
gonna
for 10
continue to
straight
fight
hours
hard.
and do this.
On your behalf. We heard from Emily, who lives in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Emily tells us that I'd moved to Massachusetts in 2020 and was working a retail job for minimum wage. I was unable to afford much, but the state thankfully approved me for SNAP assistance and Medicaid. Without that jump start, I'm not sure where I would be today.
If companies just paid livable wages, people wouldn't need SNAP
There shouldn't
benefits.
be shame or stigma surrounding these programs. You never know when life will get pulled out from underneath you. The relief when these programs can come to your aid is indescribable.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this fucking idiot right here. They're all laughing like they find this naughty, funny thing to stall.
lives
Can you
in the
figure it
5th
out?
congressional
Grown-ass
district
people acting like toddlers who don't want to do their nap.
Massachusetts.
What about the fact that Mike Johnson is the one
represented
stalling?
by the House
Mike
Democratic
Johnson
Whip,
is the one that should have let the
Haskell
motion
Clark, who's a
close
strong
hours ago.
champion on your
What the
behalf,
fuck are you
Emily,
talking about, Sanny?
powerfully,
You're a moron.
ethically,
Mike
principally.
Johnson is the reason why everybody's
Fighting
fucking
hard on your
here.
behalf.
We already killed the bill, but he doesn't want to accept it, so he's leaving the motion open for countless hours
Lives
and
in the
days after the
second
fucking shit closed.
congressional district
And
of
you're
Maine,
going to sit
district.
there and act like they're the ones being churlish?
Represented
Come
by
on,
Congressman
fucking
Jared
idiot. You don't even know what you're talking
Golden.
about.
Thankful for Congressman Golden's service. He served this nation with
This is what I'm
distinction
saying.
overseas and has come back home to serve this nation in the United States Congress. Casey writes, as a single mom of 2 young children and non-profit professional in rural Maine,
I don't know who the other person is, but thank you for popping in.
Casey and her children rely on Medicaid and SNAP to live their lives.
In rural Maine.
The resources and stability provided by Medicaid and SNAP allowed Casey to leave her emotionally abusive husband and support her children. Casey's 7-year-old son has ADHD and is on the autism spectrum. Relies heavily on individualized support through Medicaid. If Medicaid goes away, Casey doesn't know how their family will stay afloat. The American people pouring into us, Democrats and Republicans, in the United States House of Representatives, the People's House, pouring into us with all of their heart, all of their soul, all of their authenticity, pleading that this Congress would find it in our hearts to stand up for them and not stand up for billionaires, which is what this one big ugly bill is designed to accomplish.
It's pretty gross.
Sarah writes to us from
I'm not a fan of Hakeem Jeffries, but everything he's
Michigan.
saying tonight is correct.
4th Congressional District. My daughter has a heart condition. And the fact that she's on Medicaid is the only way that we can pay for her doctor visits and medications. I'm a widow. And
So-
money is very tight. So the fact that I'm on Medicaid, 2, is the only way that I can pay for my own visits and meds. The loss of Medicaid for us would be absolutely devastating. Mr. Speaker, Sarah lives in Michigan's 4th Congressional District, a district currently represented by our colleague, Congressman Bill Huizenga. The loss of Medicaid for us would be absolutely devastating.
Okay,
That's
so
the
for those
consequence.
watching, I want to show you something. So I just asked ChatGPT
GOP
how much
tax
money
scam.
overall
This
in America is in the
disgusting
Medicaid
abomination.
budget. The federal share of that
Reckless
spending was
Republican
about
budget.
$619 billion, with the states contributing $280.
Mr. Speaker, that Republicans
Total was
were trying
900.
to jam down the throats
So the states
of the
contributing
American
280, it was
during the
$619
dead of night.
billion that paid for all Medicaid. So federal
extraordinary.
taxes paid for $619
legislation
billion of all Medicaid. They're cutting it
that we
by
consider in the House of
$500 billion. So think
should
about
be
that for a
devastating
minute
for everyday Americans.
and ask yourself, oh, is it really just the illegals?
its
Is it
objective
really just the people that don't belong here
or in its
that are going to be
outcome.
on Medicaid? Oh, really? $500 billion being cut from the total expenditure
As
of
Democrats, we
$600 billion.
stand here in strong opposition.
And you don't think that
this
all
one
these
big,
people he's
ugly bill.
talking about aren't going to get cut from Medicaid? They
Because
are.
of the devastating
They are, because this bill wants to cut $500 billion from Medicaid that we only
everyday
spend
Americans
$619
all across
billion on. So make no mistake about it,
country.
this is not good. Like,
Lucy writes to us
I mean, it's bad.
from the heartland, from the great state of Michigan as well. My brother is a developmentally disabled senior who lives in a group home. Until the age of 59,
Thank you guys for
he was cared for
stopping by and watching. I appreciate you.
by our mother. cannot live on his own and has numerous health issues. He depends on Medicaid. Without Medicaid, his brothers and sisters could not support his medical care. We're hearing from families all across.
Look at this guy, Ben Hauer. Is Hakeem still yapping? That's what they think. That's what MAGA thinks. He's just yapping. Talking about regular Americans who are going to lose their health care.
Brothers and sisters.
And that's just yapping to MAGA.
Sons
that's what that is.
and daughters, husbands and wives, pleading with this Congress, pleading with House Republicans to stand up for their loved ones.
Here's another comment. Look at this.
Who are on Medicaid.
Where was it?
Who are at risk of having their health care run over and their lives ruined.
Look at this. What's up with that guy in the back row in the brown jacket?
Ugly bill.
It's a woman wearing a brown jacket.
Lucy lives.
This is what MAGA does. Do you understand? Are you seeing it? Like, this is every day what I see. Every single day. And MAGA tries to act like the liberals are the crazies. That they're the ones that attack them and shout them down and care about identity politics and all that stuff. When all they do is sit here and just fucking, they're cruel. They don't care about other people. They have no empathy. They sit there and bash the way people look. They sit there and make comments like, oh, tell another story about a homosexual Jew. Like, all these types of, like, you know, this is what they are. It's like they're hateful fucking people. They're hateful people. They really are. They really are. And when you call them out on that and say, yeah, well, you know, you're racist, you're this, you're that, they're like, oh, there's the names. Oh, you're going to call us all these names. And it's like, but look at this. Like, I'll sit here and read comments to you guys all day from MAGA. This is what they fucking say. This is how they act and are. And then when you, but if you tell them that that's what they are, they fucking tell you that you're fucking
unable to work.
That you're the one that's clueless. That like you're just using words and calling. It's like
she's unable to.
It's fucking crazy, dude. I could sit here all day and point out these comments like all day that they're saying this shit. Like,
without Medicaid, she is totally at risk. Cutting Medicaid.
Look, MAGA strong. Trust the process, bitches.
Not only cruel and unethical.
Thank you for your intelligent feedback. I still have yet to see one MAGA person offer anything that was even a semblance of thought. Not any kind of like, hey guys, this bill does this or that, or I think that blah, blah, blah. Nothing of intelligence. It's just all this garbage. Nothing of any intelligence.
The drastic cuts to Medicaid for vulnerable people with serious physical disabilities and people with serious and persistent mental health problems. Mr. Speaker, Sharon lives in the 10th Congressional District, represented by our colleague, Congressman John James. I don't know how the congressman from the great state of Michigan will vote at the end of the day as it relates to defending people like Sharon. But as Sharon writes, I know what I can say. She says, do the right thing and rescind the drastic cuts to Medicaid for vulnerable people with serious physical disabilities and people with serious and persistent mental health problems. Sharon, House Democrats will always do the right thing when it comes to your health, your safety, and your well-being, your Medicaid, and the love and care that you are working hard to provide to your daughter. We will always do the right thing. We're not perfect. No one is. But we will always strive to do the right thing.
The bottom line is pay is not high enough and bills are too expensive. That's it. Pay is not high enough and bills are too expensive. Pay is not high enough and bills are too expensive. Everything
Midwest.
costs too much. Nobody's paying enough. Everything costs too much, and nobody's paying
I'm
enough.
about halfway through the stories
That's it.
as it relates to
Everything
Medicaid.
costs too much, and nobody's paying enough. That's
Medicaid.
everyone's problem. I don't care what
Medicaid.
race, color, creed you are.
It appears that I'm halfway through the
Your
stories
problem
as
is
it relates
not
to
minorities.
Medicaid, but the
It's not.
extraordinary thing about
Your
this
problem is not undocumented immigrants.
is that
Your
it
problem
represents
is not
such an unprecedented
transvestites
assault
who want to play sports. Your
on the
problems
American
are that billionaires are not
there
that
are
own all the
stories
businesses
that
and the
need to
companies
be
do not
told
pay people enough to live on,
as
and
it relates to
everything like
the
rent
attack on
and
nutritional
food is
assistance
too expensive.
for
That's
the
your
American
problem.
people.
That's your problem.
And I
That's
will
everyone's
tell those
problem. That's
stories.
everyone's problem. The only
Stories
people
that
who
need
don't
to be
have that
told
problem are
As
the
it relates
ultra
to
rich.
the attack
That's everyone's
that has
problem.
taken place on
Is anyone doing
farmers
anything about that problem?
country.
Is anyone doing that? Is deporting
And I
a
will
bunch
tell
of
those
fucking like undocumented people who've
Stories
been
that
here
need
for
to be
15
told
years
as it
working
relates to the
in
attack on
blueberry
small
fields?
businesses.
Is that somehow going to make your expenses less and your pay
I will
higher?
tell those stories.
No,
Stories
the
that
answer
need
is
to be told
fucking no. It's
as it
not.
relates to the
It's not going to do that.
unprecedented assault
It's
on
not gonna do
veterans
that.
in this country. How
So
dare
focus
this
on that.
administration
Everything
attack
is too
veterans
expensive and
who
your
have
pay
served
is not
this
high enough.
country.
Everything
Instead of
is too
attacking
expensive and
veterans,
your
we
pay
should
is
make
not
sure
high
that
enough.
Every single
That's
veteran
it.
in this country can live with the dignity and respect.
You distracted
That they've earned.
motherfuckers that want to talk about every other fucking thing in the book
So there's stories
and
that
blame
need to be
every other
told.
fucking thing in the book for your life
As it
sucking.
relates to the veterans.
Your life sucks because rich people don't pay you enough to fucking
country.
work and live. And fucking rich people buy up all the properties
stories that need
and
to be
drive the
told as it
costs up
relates
of stuff because they're fucking greedy. Because they own shares of
law-abiding
companies,
immigrant
and those
families.
companies raise prices to make the shares keep going up and up
Please.
and up, so rich people can keep getting richer. That's
have
your
to secure
fucking
our
problem.
border.
That's what your fucking problem is.
We believe
not
that
fucking Maria
have a broken immigration
Sanchez,
system
who
that should be
fucking
fixed
washes
in a
dishes in
comprehensive
fucking
and
Los
bipartisan
Angeles,
way.
who's lived here for 15 years and never got her documentation.
also
That
stand
is
up
not going to
to
change your
dreamers
life that
and
she gets
farm
deported.
workers and
Your life will
law-abiding
not
immigrant
change.
Families in this country, we will not abandon our nation's heritage as a country of immigrants. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. It's part of what American exceptionalism has been all about. So stories that need to be told. William writes to us from the great state of Minnesota. So thankful for our colleagues from the Minnesota delegation fighting hard on behalf of that great state. I'm a 57-year-old man living in central Minnesota.
I'm back.
I am a type 1
I get emotional.
dependent diabetic, legally blind, and I suffer from severe nerve damage in my back and legs due to diabetes. I rely on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits to support myself. Any reduction in these programs would severely impact my life and my ability to afford food, pay for my small apartment, and access medical care.
MAGA can't stand to see a black man talking.
Without these benefits,
I'm looking
would
at
be
these
destitute.
comments. They just can't stand it. They don't see all white men like they do on the other
William
side, and so they just, that's what it
lives
is.
in Minnesota's 6th congressional
Like, you look at that, that's actually a reflection of America.
a district.
This is actually a reflection of America. This is what America
Represented
looks like.
by
If you travel around, there's black people, there's black
colleague,
women, there's white women, there's, this is like a
Comment.
reflection. Actually, we could probably use maybe a couple of brown people
William.
sprinkled in there. But like, you'll notice that on this side that there's like a mixture
know
of
what
like people. That kind of reflects
majority
what
whip
America
will
is.
ultimately decide to do.
But they can't stand it.
as it relates
They go
to
and they
this
see
one
a black
big,
guy
ugly bill.
talking for all this time, and they just can't fucking stand it.
But we're going to stand up for the things that clearly matter to you. We're going to stand up for Social Security, stand up for your Medicare, stand up for Medicaid, stand up for your SNAP benefits, and
Look at this.
stand
Look at this.
up
Look at this. How long are you going to allow him to speak?
for you.
How long is Mike Johnson going to keep the
I'd
fucking
also
motion
note,
open?
Parenthetically,
This is what I mean. They don't even
not
understand
rhetorical.
politics. They don't even understand. We're all here because
That
Mike
we-
Johnson won't close the motion. He's the one that's being a
Claiming to
fucking
stand up
crybaby.
for
They
people
lost
like
the vote, and he refuses to
William,
close
a
the motion
57-year-old
because he
man
said he'll keep it open for days or
living in
weeks
central
until the bill passes
Minnesota.
because he refuses to accept it's a loss.
He
That's
knows two
why we're
things
all
that are
here.
of
But
interest
but
to me.
what are
It
they
says
saying?
that
How long are you going to let him
I'm a
speak?
type 1 insulin
Jesus.
dependent
It's like,
diabetic.
how long is he going to fucking waste everybody's time? This vote's over. It's
And then
been
also
over. They
says,
lost.
I rely on Social Security, Medicare,
They're fucking
Medicaid, and
crying.
SNAP benefits to support myself.
Somebody say something smart ass to him. Hold on. I got to hear this.
Big, ugly bill. But we're going to stand up for the things that clearly matter to you. We're going to stand up for Social Security, stand up for your Medicare, stand up for Medicaid, stand up for your SNAP benefits, and stand up for you. I'd also note, parenthetically, it's not rhetorical that we are claiming to stand up for people like William, a 57-year-old man living in central Minnesota. He notes two things that are of interest to me. He says that I'm a type 1 insulin-dependent diabetic.
I love that he's doing this.
And then also says, I rely on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits to support myself. Which suggests to me that William actually may have been a beneficiary of some of the hard work that has taken place on this side of the aisle. His life is not perfect. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But as a type 1 insulin-dependent diabetic who's also on Medicare, as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act, his insulin at this point, always and forever, will be no more than $35 per month. That's a down payment, William, on the type of work that we believe needs to be done. Because we are committed to lowering your costs. Despite all the talk that comes from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker, on day one, promising to lower the high cost of living. Costs would go down on day one. Costs haven't gone down. Mr. Speaker, in the United States of America, costs are going up. Life remains far too expensive. And as a result of some of the reckless policies coming out of the Trump administration, including the Trump tariffs, on again, off again, creating so much uncertainty, but certainly will result in thousands of dollars per year in additional costs
Wow.
on everyday Americans. We're committed to lowering the high cost of living. We're committed to making sure that every single person in this country can afford to live the good life.
Hell yeah, man.
Good paying job, good housing, good health care, good education for their children, and a good retirement. We're committed to working hard to make sure that every single American like William can afford to live the good life. This one big ugly bill does the exact opposite. Does it make life more affordable, Mr. Speaker? It makes life more expensive.
The gentleman suspend. House will be in order. As the caffeine kicks in, please take your conversations outside the chamber or in the cloakroom. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Without Medicaid, Heather from the great state of Minnesota writes, without Medicaid, my 3 kids and I would have no insurance.
This is great, actually. This actually gives me hope for this country because
couldn't afford my epilepsy and schizophrenia medication.
Jack says my girl is going to kill me. Why is she going to kill
my
you,
kids
buddy?
wouldn't have access to health care.
This gives me
including
major
ER
hope
visits,
for
physicals,
America because for the
vaccinations,
first time,
and dental cleaning.
I'm seeing Republicans and Democrats working together.
Heather lives in Minnesota's 8th
in a long time. It's been a while. And they're working
our
together to
colleague, Mr.
stop this
Speaker,
bill.
Congressman Peter Stauber. Lynn writes to us from Missouri, the Show Me State, a state ably represented by Representative Emanuel Cleaver and Representative Wesley Bell. Lynn writes to us, says that I'm a widow near 70 with very little family left and have been diagnosed with breast cancer. I have an adult son, severely disabled. He already has lost transportation services due to low Medicaid funding. And if Medicaid is cut, it will be disastrous for my situation. Lynn knows that this one big ugly bill
Look at this guy. No health care for illegals.
target on the back
Illegals
of
can't
Medicaid.
get health care. They're so stupid. They're so fucking
one of the senators from the great
stupid.
state
They're the dumbest fucking people
Missouri.
in the world. They're so fucking
Senator Josh
stupid.
Hawley
Illegals do not get
Spent
fucking
months.
health care in the United States, dude.
warning
My God, man.
about the damage that Donald Trump's one big ugly bill would do
Look
to
at this.
the people
Deport
of Missouri
Democrats.
as a result of the all-out assault on Medicaid,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Block.
and then turned around and voted to cut Medicaid from his constituents.
Look at this. I love this. Typical MAGA
So
post.
shocking. It's
I
so
want whatever
disappointing.
Trump wants. MAGA.
So heartbreaking for many Americans that
Trump doesn't even know
lot of people
that
in
they
the
were
House of
cutting
Representatives,
Medicaid. He found out
Speaker, a lot of people
today and was like, "Oh my God, really?" Like,
in the Senate
like
have
he
talked
didn't
a
even
good
know
game
they were cutting Medicaid from the bill. That's been reported
About
by
Medicaid,
Republicans who reported
then
that.
turned around
They had to tell
and
him,
done
"No,
nothing
this
to
bill
protect
cuts Medicaid," and he went, "Really?"
That's
He didn't even
shameful.
know. Like, oh my God, dude! I want whatever
It
Trump wants.
disgusts
This
me.
guy says. Oh
Because
my
I want to
God.
believe
I want whatever Trump
the
wants.
good
I don't
faith of
think for
every
myself. I just follow a cult
member
and
to
just
look
I just
out.
want whatever he wants.
for the people that they are privileged to serve. Donald Trump's one big ugly bill, an all-out assault on health care, an all-out assault on Medicaid, the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. This legislation,
Someone
Well,
writes,
in
this
Medicaid,
guy
as
talking
we
about
know it,
Hakeem Jeffries. This guy is a clown. What's
millions
his
of
name?
people
Diggy
will
Pooper.
lose their health care.
A dude with the name Diggy Pooper said this guy is a
Hospitals
clown.
will close, including in rural America. People
These aren't even real accounts.
will
They're
lose
bot
their
accounts.
nursing homes. 1 in 4 nursing homes may close as a result of this dangerous and extreme Republican
That's why
budget.
he's spamming.
Community-based health clinics relied upon by many of the people all across this country will shudder as a result of Donald Trump's one big ugly bill. People in this country will die unnecessary deaths. That's unacceptable. That's unconscionable. That's un-American. And that is why, as House Democrats, we stand on this floor aggressively pushing back on the
I gotta get rid of this
everyday
guy. He's driving me fucking
Americans
nuts.
on their behalf,
Idiot.
pushing back on their behalf, because they will be so absolutely devastated if this bill were to pass in the House of Representatives. Donald Trump's one big ugly bill hurts everyday Americans and rewards billionaires with massive tax breaks. Why is it that every time, Mr. Speaker, Republicans have the opportunity to govern in a partisan way, you immediately race, Republicans immediately race to legislation that provides massive tax breaks for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected in this country. We've seen this happen all over time. During the presidency of Ronald Reagan, massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, adding to our nation's debt and deficit. During the presidency of George W. Bush in 2001 and 2003, yet again, massive tax cuts for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. In fact, the Republican president at that time, in 2001, inherited a budget surplus from President Bill Clinton, and immediately turned around and took that budget surplus and turned it into a deficit, exploded the debt.
It's true.
Don't ever lecture us about fiscal responsibility. Not now, not ever. Mr. Speaker, Republicans are not the party of fiscal responsibility. You are the party of fiscal irresponsibility. Over and over and over again.
Facts. Been that way
And
all
now
my
with
life.
This bill, you've taken it to a whole nother level. Because in addition to exploding the debt by more than $3 trillion, and by some estimates, even more than that, saddling our children and our grandchildren with trillions of dollars in additional debt. Why? It appears to subsidize the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. That's extraordinary
It's true.
to me.
See, unlike most people, I
It
actually
shouldn't be
read the
surprising
bill.
because it's
I
exactly
went through
what we
it.
saw
I had AI analyze it.
during
I
the
got
first
bullet
4
point
years
conclusions drawn from it,
of the Trump administration.
and I went over it, and I know
With
what's
a
in it.
signature legislative accomplishment was the 2017.
I didn't turn on the
GOP
news and
tax
get told
scam,
what was in it.
where by some estimates, 83% of the benefits would go to the wealthiest 1% in this country. Saddling at the time our children and grandchildren with more than $2 trillion in additional debt. And yet, Mr. Speaker, many of our Republican colleagues want to lecture America about fiscal responsibility. And then have the nerve to come to the House floor and try to jam a bill down the throats of the American people with a debate that began at 3:28 a.m. in the morning that would saddle them with more than $3 trillion in additional debt. Wow. To provide massive tax breaks to billionaires in this country, and then pay for some of it by going after working class Americans, everyday Americans, hardworking American taxpayers, middle class Americans, children and veterans and seniors and people with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, Trump's one big ugly bill is obscene in that regard. Seems to me that all of us have a responsibility as leaders to try to make life better for the American people. That's what leaders have done, particularly those who have served in the White House, when it comes to actually lifting up the people who we are entrusted to represent. That's what great leaders do. Leaders like FDR, President Johnson, President Obama, and so many others. That's what the track record says. American people in this country, they deserve real leadership. What we've seen from complete Republican rule in Washington, D.C., Mr. Speaker, it's not leadership that lifts up the American people. It's leadership that is tearing them down and tearing us apart. The first 6 months of this administration have been characterized by chaos, cruelty, and corruption. That's not real leadership.
Put a capital C on
cruelty. We know
cruelty.
what real leadership looks like in the United States of America. Real leadership shows courage. Real leadership shows compassion. Real leadership shows commitment. Working with Congress as a separate and co-equal branch of government, not to bend the knee to some extreme agenda, which is what, Mr. Speaker, my House Republican colleagues are doing by supporting this one big ugly bill. Real leadership requires working with Congress as a separate and co-equal branch of government to actually lift people up. President Lincoln, when he addressed the House of Representatives, I believe it was his second annual message to Congress, on December 1st in 1862, in the middle of the Civil War, an existential crisis that we were facing in the United States of America.
This, once again, here's another
He showed
idiot.
real leadership.
We the people would like you to shut up
When
and
he
get to the
summoned
vote. Mike Johnson
This
is
Congress
keeping the motion open. It's
to rise to
already
the
been
occasion.
voted on. It's already been done.
that second annual
The Democrats
message to
got what
Congress,
they wanted
December 1st,
and blocked the bill.
1862.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, doesn't want to stop
Lincoln
it
said,
and
"Fellow
close the
citizens, we
motion.
cannot
He
escape
thinks if he leaves it open for days and days and days, that he could
We
flip a
are-
couple of Republicans the other way
We
to
of
win the
this
vote.
Congress,
That's what's happening. That's
and
why
this
we're here.
administration will be
Not
remembered
because
in
Hakeem
spite of
Jeffries
ourselves.
is talking. He's doing this because
no personal
Mike
significance
Johnson
or insignificance
refuses
can
to let
spare
anybody
one
go home
or
when the
another
vote's
of
been
us.
over for hours and hours and hours.
The fiery trial through which we pass.
But he's over here. We the people would like you
Will
to
light
shut up
us
and get to
down
the
in
vote.
honor
It
or
isn't
dishonor
his
to
fault
the
why the
latest
vote is stopped. This is what I can't stand. It's like they're so stupid.
We
They don't
say
even.
we are for the Union.
Do you even fucking know politics? Don't you know anything about it?
world
They
will
don't.
not
They're
forget
idiots. Like
that we say this.
they don't
We
know
know
anything
how to
about
save
how
the
their
Union.
own government works or functions. They
world
don't know anything about it.
Knows we do know how to save it. Even we here, hold the power and bear the responsibility. In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free. Honorable alike in what we give and what we preserve. We shall nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope of earth. That's America. Even
Yeah,
to this day. The
supposed to be.
last best hope on earth. Extraordinary that Abraham Lincoln, in America's infancy, understood the importance of this country, not just for its citizens, but for the world.
Look at this guy. Shut the
urge
fuck
this
up and
Congress
vote
to
already.
nobly save
Oh
or
my
meanly
God,
lose
dude.
The last best hope of earth. Other means may succeed. This could not fail. The way is plain, peaceful, generous, just. A way which, if followed, the world will forever applaud. And God must forever bless.
Can't fucking stand how
presidential
stupid everybody is.
That kind of leadership is missing in the United States of America right now.
Sure is.
Exhibit A is the fact that at President Trump's urging,
To catch everybody up, the vote already happened. 217 people voted against it. 207 voted for it. There's only 8 people that haven't voted yet. Even if all 8 vote for it, they lost. However, the way that politics works, the way that our government works, is that the Speaker of the House, even though you're only supposed to get 15 minutes to vote, the Speaker of the House, it's not truly over until they swing the hammer, till they drop the gavel. So the Speaker, Mike Johnson, what he did today was he decided, since there's no real rule that says he can't, that he's not going to drop the gavel, even though the vote is already over, even though they already lost. He's going to maintain keeping it open, and has even said he'll do it for days. He'll do it through July 4th. He'll do it for weeks if he has to, but he will not close the motion till the bill passes. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's the Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He is keeping the vote open. It's already been voted on. They already lost. For those of you who are just catching up. So what's going on is, since they won't let anyone leave because they're keeping the motion open and they're forcing all these people to stay here as a way of punishing them and to make them sort of flip their vote, because they're allowed to switch their vote as long as the motion is still open. So because of that, Hakeem Jeffries is doing a filibuster style speech, reading letters of all the victims in America that have wrote letters to their congresspeople about how their lives are going to be affected if they lose Medicaid. So that's what's going on. That's what's happening at this moment. The morons in the comments that keep on talking about how, just vote, why are we not voting? What are you talking about? They're idiots, and they have no idea what they're talking about. It's already been voted on, but instead of accepting the outcome of the vote, the Republican speaker, Mike Johnson, refuses to accept it. So he's keeping everybody there for days if he has to, till he convinces them to flip their vote and they get what they want. Is that egregious and disgusting and morally reprehensible? Yes, but he's doing it anyways.
Mr. Speaker, our House Republican colleagues are here.
I'll get us up to
These
speed.
words: long before the economic blight of the Depression descended on the nation, millions of our people were living in wastelands of want and fear. Men and women too old and infirm to work either depended on those who had but little to share, or spent their remaining early learned the meaning of being a burden to relatives or to the community. Men and women still strong, still young, but discarded as gainful workers, were drained of self-confidence and self-respect. The millions of today want and have a right to the same security their forefathers sought. The assurance that with the health and the willingness to work, they will find a place for themselves in the social and economic system of the time. Because it has become increasingly difficult for individuals to build their own security single-handed, government must now step in and help them lay the foundation stones. Just as government in the past has helped lay the foundation of business and industry. We must face the fact that in this country we have a rich man's security and a poor man's security, and that the government owes equal obligations to both.
The only people who support this bill are people that don't know how to read.
And half manner,
That's
it's
it.
all or none.
Morons who sit at home and fucking eat cheeseburgers and watch Fox News and don't fucking read, and they're idiots.
Further went on to say,
Gym
that the Social
bros,
Security Act
young like gym bros that like shave their head
to
around
all our
here,
citizens a
and their hair's
workable
all fucking like, you know
and
what I'm talking
working
about, and they're like,
method
I'm MAGA bro, I'm in the gym every
of
day,
meeting
fuck liberals,
urgent
you know, like
present
those
needs.
dudes. Morons. That's
And
who
of
support this,
forestalling
because they don't know
future
anything. They don't read anything, and they didn't go to
utilizes the
college because they
familiar
thought college was
machinery of
lame, because
our
college is for
federal, state
libtards,
government to
right?
promote
So they didn't get an
common
education, so they don't know how to
and
read
the economic
bills or
stability of the
understand
nation.
laws or understand how things work.
The act does not offer
So because they
anyone,
don't know
either
how things
individually
work,
or collectively,
they just
an
get their
easy
opinion
life.
fed to them by social media,
Nor
and,
was it ever
and older
intended
people, older MAGA people get their information
so
fed
to
to them by state regime media, Fox News.
None of the sums of
So
money paid
that's-
out to
that's
individuals and
essentially
assistance
why they
or in
don't, why they
insurance will
support the bill.
spell
They just don't know any better. They're
anything
idiots.
approaching abundance.
There's a reason why both
But they will
Republicans and
furnish
Democrats
that
voted
minimum
against it.
necessity to keep a foothold.
Both. This isn't
And that is the kind
this
of
isn't a
protection
partisan
Americans
issue.
want.
You know, both parties are actually coming together
Fewer
to stop
words
this
could
bill
never have been
because it's that
spoken.
bad.
That is the type of protection that we should be building upon here in the United States Congress, not undermining. President Franklin D. Roosevelt went on to say, what we are doing is good, but it is not good enough. To be truly national, a Social Security program must include all those who need its protection. Today, many of our citizens are still excluded from old age insurance
FDR policies are coming under attack.
and unemployment compensation because of the nature of their employment. This must be set.
And Ben, I don't know if you're
right.
still here, but Peter
And it
Thiel
will.
is a big reason why FDR policies are coming under
FDR
attack.
continues to say to the American people, I am hopeful that on the basis of studies and investigations now underway,
Peter Thiel believes, and has stated many times, that he believes we live in a utopian, in an FDR utopian paradise, and that he doesn't like it because he doesn't like the fact that billionaires should have to pay all this taxes into the system so that people who are dregs on society, his words, not mine, people that are useless, to society, like, overweight people or sick people or whatever, he believes that they should be just expunged and that they're a drain on society. This is Peter Thiel's belief, the guy that owns and runs Palantir, that currently is building a surveillance state against the American people. And the reason why he matters and why his thought matters is because he's single-handedly the reason why him and JD Vance and all these billionaire tech bros, they are fully on board with this idea that democracy is a waste of time, that we need to have an authoritarian state, that it needs to be a tech regime, a tech CEO, overlord, whatever. And they are using all their billions of dollars to bribe much of our politicians to pass legislature that literally does their bidding. And that's what we're witnessing. That's exactly what we're witnessing.
the Congress will improve and extend the law. I'm also confident that each year will bring further development in federal and state Social Security legislation. And that is as it should be. One word of warning, however, in our efforts to provide security for all of the American people, let us not allow ourselves to be misled by those who advocate shortcuts to utopia of fantastic financial schemes. We have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. There is still today a frontier that remains unconquered. In America, unclaimed.
So this commenter says, I blame Roosevelt.
This is the nationwide frontier
where
of
was that
insecurity.
comment? I blame
of
Roosevelt
human
for our
want
unfunded liabilities.
and fear.
Really? You blame Roosevelt
This
for our
is the frontier.
unfunded
The
liabilities,
America
not the
we have
billionaires
set
that are avoiding
ourselves
taxes? Because the
reclaim.
entire system actually works when the rich pay their fair share of taxes, like
President
they're supposed to.
Franklin
like
D.
they
Roosevelt
have, literally
pioneered
from the 1940s all the
Social
way to the
Security.
1960s.
but
So,
recognize
or
that the work
1980s even.
was
So,
unfinished,
like,
even
what are you
as it
talking
related
about?
to making sure every single American, regardless of race or position in life, would have Social Security to be able to live out their golden years with grace and dignity. President Franklin D. Roosevelt talked
All right,
about
guys.
this frontier.
I'm going to have to
that
call it. It is
America
4:30 in the morning where I'm at, and I have
continue to pursue.
very important places to be in the morning. I'm not going to hardly get any sleep tonight, but it is
Conquering
what
the
it is.
frontier of
But I
insecurity,
appreciate
of
all of
human
you
want
stopping in to watch.
and fear.
You can watch this live at Forbes Breaking News
That's
if you want to just hop on over
leadership.
there
That's what we should
and
be
watch
doing
all the idiots argue amongst themselves.
here in
but
the United States of America,
yeah.
Mr. Speaker. Not
you can go Forbes Breaking News and you can go watch it. All right,
enacting
guys.
devastating cuts
Before
to
you go,
healthcare
maybe give my channel a like
will
or a
hurt
subscribe or
millions.
whatever. If you the video,
Of
whatever,
everyday
anything helps.
All of
Every
this
little bit helps. The likes
is
really do
also
help.
unfolding
So that'd be great. If you disagree with me and you just watch me because
In an
you're a hater and which I have that. I don't know why.
But Social Security is now
super
under
weird.
attack.
But then fine. But thank you for the view, I
That's
guess.
extraordinary.
But anyway, I gotta go.
me.
But I appreciate you guys. Have a good night and.